The following is an ABC 26 Sports Special, Mission Miami. Get ready for the biggest party of the year as the Who Nation gets gridiron ready for a black and gold Super Bowl. Who fans have marched on through the good times, through the hurricanes and the heartaches. This is our time. This is our passion. This is our Saints blasting off to Mission Miami.
And welcome to our ABC 26 Sports Special, Mission Miami. I'm Jessica Hawley.
And I'm Jocelyn Lockwood. Along with its beaches and sunshine, Miami is also known for its fashion.
And now Saints fans are deciding between football and fashion. ABC 26 News anchor Kurt Sprang is live in Fort Lauderdale with more Mission Miami. Kurt?
Jessica and Jocelyn, there's nothing more fashionable, more in style here in Fort Lauderdale than a Saints t-shirt or jersey. We got a huge group of fans here. You know, Crockett and Tubbs left Miami a long time ago in their Ferrari Daytona. However, there is still a big fashion attitude waiting for Saints fans.
On Lincoln Road, the stores attract Miami's beautiful, trendy, young, cool, and eccentric. Reggie Bush's celeb status may help you a little, but there will be plenty of people who make the distinction between jerseys and Armanis. These Saints fans plan to stick with their black and gold game plan.
Did you bring the Speedos, or what do you got? What do you got packed?
Not with this body, no Speedo, but
not really worried about it. It's all black and gold, Saints, and looking for Drew to bring home the championship for us.
Are you trading in the Saints jersey for some Versace or something? What's going on out here today?
All black and gold this week. All black and gold, no Versace.
These fans are only worried about who will wear the Super Bowl crown, and while it may seem a little snooty, there is a noticeable difference in styles. Big Easy ready for the French Quarter versus label-conscious couture. For the black and gold ladies who appreciate both, there is a compromise.
That right? All that rules. Black and gold all the way. Everything is black and gold. Black and gold to the Super Bowl.
Bring my money.
Black and gold to the Super Bowl.
Everybody gonna bring my money.
Super Bowl. Here we go.
Saints are going to the Super Bowl. Saints are going to the Super Bowl.
What's your name?
Kelly.
Where are you from?
The West Bank.
So what's the big plan for tonight? What are y'all gonna do tonight?
We're going out, baby. Saints are going to the Super Bowl.
Saints, by the way, are going to the Super Bowl, guys. We're having a great time here in Fort Lauderdale. I would say Saints fans, big time outnumber Colts fans. It's going to be a huge night and a huge weekend here in South Florida. Back to you.
Hey, Kurt, I don't know if you can still hear me because I know it's really loud out there, but it seems like there are a lot more Saints fans today. Was there a big shift today from yesterday?
Saints are going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, he can't hear me.
I don't think he can hear us. They're just
shouting
partying.
I think so.
They're just having too much
a lot
fun.
of people came in today. I mean, we've seen a real big difference in the live shots. From
Oh,
the
yeah,
crowd.
it looks like it. You know, there were a couple Saints fans out there, the diehards that had to go all week long and
Right.
kind of make a vacation out of it. But yeah, now we're seeing most Saints fans who were able to get off work and head down there for the weekend.
Miami is now getting a taste of the Whodats.
Oh, yes, and there's only more to come. Well, Saints fans from New Orleans to Harahan are putting their stamp on the NFL with some home cooking.
And they're helping the hungry while they're at it.
Yeah, ABC 26 News reporter Sheldon Fox continues our coverage in Fort Lauderdale.
Welcome to Fort Lauderdale, where the NFL is whipping up something good. It involves a New Orleans chef, NFL players in an effort to eradicate hunger domestically. The taste of the NFL. Cue up the good stuff. Tomorrow night, Super Bowl Eve, will belong to the foodies. Big-time chefs and big spenders wanting to be a part of an event called The Taste of the NFL.
We're all here to do one thing, and that's to help raise money for hunger.
31 chefs, 31 NFL cities, players will be on hand, and so will this family of Saints fanatics from Harahan. Not as tasters and spenders, but as contestants / supporters of a mom who makes a mean jalapeno.
We put pork sausage in it, onion powder, garlic powder, cheddar cheese, and honey.
Emily Barre won an online contest last fall for her tailgate treats. Now she'll compete in a cook-off with 2 others as part of the Taste of the NFL tomorrow night. For the Barre family, a free trip to South Florida while the Saints are here is a win-win, even though they don't have Super Bowl tickets.
It's to be here where it's happening. It's like anything with New Orleans. You don't have to be at the event. You just have to be part of the party, and I want to be part of the party.
We're really proud of her and happy to be a part of history.
But jalapeno history would have to take a back seat, they said, to a Saints win side of NFL history. So if you're going to be in South Florida between now and the Super Bowl, tomorrow night's the night for Taste of the NFL. $500 to get in, $600 if you want to be a VIP member. It's at the Broward County Convention Center. All of the money goes straight to charity, and all of that food will be oh so good. Sheldon Fox, ABC 26 News.
Thanks a lot, Sheldon. Just 2 days left till the Saints and Colts square off in Sun Life Stadium for the Super Bowl.
The Saints and Colts had a final media briefing before the big game. ABC 26 Sports Director Ed Daniels explains for us live from South Florida. Ed?
Well, a final media briefing it was, although not really a lot of earth-shattering news to come out of it. However, when you put these Super Bowl trips into perspective, here's something that really stands out. Peyton Manning, as great as his career has been in the league since 1998. This is only his second trip. So for the Saints and the Colts on Sunday, it really is seize the day. In 2009, the Saints have that look like a team of destiny, but so are the Colts. As Indianapolis eyes its second Super Bowl trophy in 4 seasons, head coach Jim Caldwell said his team is the picture of focus. Caldwell said it was a skill acquired during the Tony Dungy years.
Tony had done a tremendous job with making certain this was understood, and I think he reflected it also in his demeanor on the sidelines, and that's to never panic. He talked about poise quite often.
Reaching their first Super Bowl, the New Orleans Saints are America's 2009 team. Head coach Sean Payton has talked often about what his club has meant to the city, but he said if the Saints win the Super Bowl, the bond inside the locker room will be even more special.
One of the things that you talk to your players about, an accomplishment like that almost binds you forever. More important than any of the celebration or any of the other things that go along with winning a championship. I think that in itself is pretty significant.
Pretty special indeed if the Saints can bring home the Vince Lombardi Trophy on Sunday night in beautiful Miami. Now, one other little morsel of football information. Colts defensive end Dwight Freeney did not practice again today. He's not practiced in 2 weeks, but the Colts still hope that even on a bum ankle, he can play against the Saints on Sunday. Much more coming up at 6:30. We'll see you then.
All right, thank you, Ed. A picture-perfect shot from Miami, the home of Super Bowl 44 and Houdat Fever. Stay right here. More Mission Miami coming up.
From all Miami.
Welcome back, Saints fans. This is Mission Miami.
Saints fans, of course, are all ages, and since Saints fever is running rampant with the little ones, schools across the region took time today to let the kids show their Saints spirit 2 days before the Super Bowl.
ABC 26 News reporter Sandra Gonzalez has more.
Jessica and Jocelyn's Saints fever is skyrocketing, especially with the children. And here in St. Bernard Parish, students at Joseph Davies Elementary School have really gotten into it. They've decorated their hallways from floor to ceiling. And that's not all.
These first graders are crazy about the Saints.
I'm excited for the Saints.
Why?
Because they went to the Super Bowl.
I hope they be the champs. And they're the best.
It makes me feel so happy that sometimes I want to cry.
Not only are they second lining to show their Saints pride, they learned a routine to this Saints song, Party in the MIA. Helping fuel this excitement is teacher Tabitha Joya.
It gives us hope. It means a lot because we're really excited about the Saints winning, and it gives us something to look forward to since Katrina, because St. Bernard Parish was devastated, you know, tremendously, and it really has uplifted the kids.
Meanwhile, a monster pep rally was held at Bissonnet Plaza Elementary in Metairie. These girls practiced a Saintsations routine. And these boys did their own thing too. All the children were pumped up for their Saints.
It's the first time going to the Super Bowl.
We waited 40 years for them.
You're not even 40 years old.
It's great, and I hope they win and go and win the Super Bowl.
Children all across Southeast Louisiana are cheering loudly for their Saints. Back out here at Joseph Davies Elementary School, this is a brick from the original school before the campus was destroyed by Hurricane Katrina. So winning a Super Bowl would just mean the world to these children. Jessica and Jocelyn, back to you.
All right, thanks, Sandra. Boy, they had a great time out there today. Classes at Joseph Davies Elementary have been sending items to the Saints to show their support and hope a player will visit their school sometime after the Super Bowl.
If you are headed down to the MIA, we've got just the place for you to show off your black and gold spirit. Join me, Kurt Sprang, and Daniel Sheldon Fox for a Mission Miami pep rally, 7 p.m. tomorrow. It's at the Hilton Miami Downtown Hotel, 1601 Biscayne Boulevard. You'll see some familiar faces there, the Saintsations, the Whistle Monster, and Saints Hall of Famer Ricky Jackson, just to name a few. For tickets or more information, you can call this phone number. It's 1-877-886-4355. All right, we have more Mission Miami coming up right after the break.
You're watching an ABC 26 Sports Special, Mission Miami.
Welcome back. The Super Bowl is a lot more than just cheering on the Saints. It's about parties, parties, parties.
Yeah, but before you grab a beer or two to cheer on the Saints, ABC 26 nutritionist Molly Kimball has a couple of alternative options so your drink doesn't end up right around your waistline and ruin your diet.
Right, and we know that the rule for moderation of alcohol intake is 1 drink a day for women, 2 for men. Of course, that's out the window. People are going to be starting at 9, 10 a.m. if not earlier.
Right,
and
full
so
day.
Of course they're going to be drinking all day. We just accept that. So people grab daiquiris, they grab beer, they grab mixed drinks. What's your best and worst? What I've got here is a 32-ounce daiquiri. Any type of daiquiri, a 32-ounce daiquiri has 1,600 calories.
Yes,
No.
this. 1,600.
1,600.
No.
So you can. Yes.
Oh, I don't like to hear that.
No wonder it tastes so good, all that sugar. You could have all 12 of these light beers, actually more than 12 of these light beers
Oh my
for the
goodness.
calories in one 32-ounce daiquiri.
And people do not think about this, especially women. A lot of women are daiquiri drinkers. They'll pick this up, take it around, but they can have a couple of these, and they would never, ever probably drink 12 of these.
Never, unless they are starting at 8 a.m.
Right, right.
And if so, then you're having more than one daiquiri. You may be having 3,000 calories worth of daiquiris. You could have 30
Remember
light
that.
beers.
I mean, that is an important thing to remember on this segment.
Well, so then a lot
1,600
of
calories.
A lot of people start reaching for lighter beers.
Yes.
These new,
Yes.
55-calorie beers.
Yes. So every type of light beer, and I have here a Beta Light, but it could be Bud Light, Corona Light, Coors Light. All light beers have roughly 100 calories, 95 to 108. Even the Mick Ultra is marketed as if it's lighter, better for you. Even the Mick Ultra, about 100 calories, so they're not any lower.
Okay.
What's come out in the past year or 2 years is a couple of 64-calorie beers. The Beck's Premier Light is more of a refreshing kind of crisp. This MGD 64, the way I reference that, it's kind of just like Miller. You know, it's kind of like you finish mowing your lawn. It's that kind of a beer. This is a little bit more of a girly beer. This is more just beer.
And this one says 55.
Yes, this came out just recently. It's 55 calories, 64, 55. It doesn't really matter on that. So with these, I would just say whichever one you like the taste of, go for it.
Okay.
The key on these too, which can make it safer if you are drinking all day, is these beers, the very low calorie, 64 and lower, are actually lower alcohol content.
Right.
That's how they get the calories so low.
Okay, just real quickly, you wanted to demonstrate something with this.
So people think they're saving calories with hard liquor. This shot has 100 calories, but look how little it is in that glass. You can hardly even see it. So the amount of hard liquor that you might actually put into a drink might be 300 calories before you even add the mixer. So you're not saving calories when you switch to hard alcohol of any type because of the amount you're usually going to make a mixed drink with.
So be careful with your choices on
Yes,
party day.
definitely.
All right. Thanks for joining us,
Yeah,
Molly.
thank you.
We'll be right back with more Mission Miami.
Special, Mission Miami.
Welcome back to Mission Miami. We hope Saints fans brought their umbrellas to the MIA because heavy downpours are win or lose. You can count on a great Saints parade rolling downtown. It begins at 5 p.m. February 9th. That's this Tuesday. The parade starts at the Dome and heads toward the river on Poydras Street. It'll end in front of Mardi Gras World on the East Bank. And you can count on ABC 26 News to offer you a front row view of the parade during our Mission Miami special parade coverage. It took 43 seasons to do it, but finally the Saints are going to the Super Bowl with a lot of credit going to one kicker's foot.
Yeah, ABC 26 News anchor Michael Hill shows us in tonight's Moments in Saints history.
This season featured a lot of firsts for the New Orleans Saints in their 43rd campaign, including hosting this NFC Championship game in the Superdome. The Saints led most of the way, kept forcing Minnesota turnovers, and repeatedly nailed Brett Favre to the Superdome floor. They played to a 28-28 time regulation. The Saints won the toss to get the ball in overtime. They drove down the field and then relied on a young kicker they had suspended at the beginning of the season, Garrett Hartley, to try a 40-yard. Hartley nailed it, ending nearly 2 generations of heartbreak and disappointment and sending the black and gold to their first Super Bowl and the Who Dat Nation into a surreal state of euphoria.
And Hartley has said he woke up in the middle of the night dreaming the big game had come down to his kick.
We'll have a Saints party and nothing to wear.
Well, we can help you with that.
Yes,
ABC 26 News has you covered. Right now, you have a chance to win this signed Marcus Colston jersey.
It's all part of A1 Appliances Text to Win Mission Miami contest right here on ABC 26 News.
All you have to do is text WHODAT to 38628 and we'll announce the big winner of the Marcus Colston signed jersey Saturday during our Mission Miami special from 7 to 10 p.m. on ABC 26. More Mission Miami coming up after the break.
From the Cajun Cannon, Bobby
This is an ABC 26 Sports Special, Mission Miami.
Welcome back to Mission Miami. You know, nearly 1,000 people have been to our website, abc26.com, and they've downloaded this Who Dat card.
Well, it's in demand, and now you can become a card-carrying Who Dat as well. Just go to our website, abc26.com, click on the Mission Miami link. It's on our homepage, and from there you can download this card, and then you can show off your Who Dat spirit to your friends and your family as our Saints head to the Super Bowl.
And you know what, on abc26.com as well, you can find a ton of fan pictures. They've been pouring into our newsroom. And if you want to send us any pictures, possibly from Miami, please do so to pics@abc26.com.
If you want to check it out on your phone, it's a good idea to have this card in your wallet so you have the website with you. It's abc26.com/Saints headquarters for all the information you need about the big game. And in fact, tomorrow, Miss Jocelyn will be in Miami.
I will be. I'm so excited. We will be hosting a pep rally down there, which will be so much fun. And from 7 to 10 tomorrow, we will also have all of your Saints coverage. We'll be live from Miami. We'll be live from the French Quarter, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, have a safe trip, girl.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow. We'll leave you with the sights and sounds of this incredible Saints season.
We'll also leave you with the ABC 26 Saints official song, I Believe, Go Saints All the Way by Angela Bell. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow from 7 to 10.
Go Saints!
I believe.
TV presents an Eyewitness Sports special.
Welcome live to Bayfront Park
Downtown Miami, just off the Biscayne Bay. Well, they say talk is cheap for the teams. The talk is over. The final press conferences today up in Fort Lauderdale, meaning the next statements these teams will make will be on the field for Super Bowl 44. It's a game everyone has an opinion on, including the locals. Even though they don't have a dog in this fight, they still have plenty of bark. Here's Jim Henderson.
We come to Miami and Miami Beach for Super Bowl 44 with a lot of questions and very few answers. So where to get those answers? Don't go to the Chamber of Commerce. Go to the South Beach psychic, Patricia. She knows all, she tells all. Could I get your Super Bowl prediction from you, whether the Colts or the Saints are going to win?
Colts. There you go.
Are you a transplanted Who-Dat?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What's the score going to be?
I say 31-28.
I'm calling Patricia because she's late. If she's a psychic, why doesn't she know I'm here? Just one word, that's all, just short. All you have to do is say Saints or Colts. Hey, I need your Super Bowl prediction.
Who's playing? Who's playing?
The Saints.
Oh, the Saints?
And the Colts.
And the Colts, the Saints.
The Saints? Hey, who's going to win that game, the Colts or the Saints? I need to put this beautiful girl on television. We're doing Super Bowl predictions. Who do you like on Sunday, the Saints or the Colts?
I don't ask me because I don't know anything about the Super Bowl, but you can ask them. They like football.
She won't talk to us.
Then you come here and talk to them.
Yes, come here and talk to us.
Come here.
She keeps running away from us.
Come here.
Why won't this beautiful girl over here talk to us? Every time we go to talk to her, she runs away.
I don't know.
That's happened to us a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are you dating her?
No.
Would you like to date her?
I think my girlfriend might have something to say about that.
What would it take to date her?
What would it take to date her?
A lot of money?
I believe that.
You have a lot of money?
Oh, I work here, so no.
That answers my question. Who do you think eats more pizza, the Saints or the Colts?
The Colts.
But we want you to make your Super Bowl prediction as to who's going to win on Sunday, the Saints or the Colts.
I don't know.
What
You're not the people you want to see here.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure about that. Who do you like in the Super Bowl?
Go Saints.
How much does this guy know? He's got a Bengals shirt on.
Yeah, he doesn't know that much. Yeah, the field goal, he's going to come through again, another miracle.
I'm going with him. Saints all the way.
I think the Colts definitely have it in the bag.
Are you a model?
I do a little bit.
Well, we're from New Orleans. We're trying to get Super Bowl predictions. Who do you like, the Colts or the Saints on Sunday?
Oh, the Saints all the way. They have to win. You know why? Because Drew Bledsoe, I lived in California, and they did him bad.
So you think Drew Bledsoe will be the key for the Saints on Sunday?
Of course.
But you really think Drew Bledsoe will be the difference?
I guarantee he will. But I'll tell you right now, Drew Bledsoe is going to make up for everything he's ever done in his life.
I was a little undecided as to where to put my money, but talking to you, you seem like you know so much about it. And
I've watched him through his whole career. I know he's got a hot temper and all that. Right. And he is the man.
Great.
He is going to do it.
You don't know this, but you've got on Drew Bledsoe's number.
No, that's not true, is it?
Yeah, he's the quarterback for the Saints, isn't he?
No, I think that's Drew Brees.
I have a feeling, I have a premonition that guy had a few too many Jim Beam Cokes.
Yeah, but he got the Drew part right.
He got at least got one thing right. You know, everyone's got an opinion on this game. It could sway either way. What are some things you think that could turn this with one or two plays?
Well, in my opinion, I think one thing that has to be done by either team is run the ball. I think if you look at the Saints, this game could be built for them. If the weather's not right, they have a better running game on the season than the Indianapolis Colts do. The Colts have become so one-dimensional by their own choice. They've thrown the ball way more, and then they've run it this year with Joseph Adai, former LSU Tiger. I think that's an area where the Saints can exploit, and also it keeps Peyton Manning and that offense off the field if you can run it and run it consistently.
Peyton Manning brought up a good point, though. They have been one-dimensional, 32nd in the league in rushing, but they outrushed the Jets in the AFC title game. Not a lot of people thought they could do that. So they're committed to the run when they need to be, but when you have Peyton Manning, you don't always have to be. I would look at a situation like Reggie Bush. In the playoffs and in big games, he always shows up. Yeah. It could be a muff like it was against the Vikings that turns this game around, or it could be a huge return like he had against the Cardinals.
Yeah, well, this game is built for Reggie Bush. Yeah. I also think if you look at on the defensive side of the ball, we've talked so much this week about Dwight Freeney and his possibility of not playing. Look at the Saints defensive ends. Bobby McCray, a guy that grew up in South Florida. Will Smith, also a guy that's trying to show that he should have been in that Pro Bowl game over the last weekend. These are two guys that can get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. If they can get Peyton Manning off his rocker a little bit, off his rhythm, that could be a big difference in this game.
You can look at blitzes. Greg Williams, will he, won't he? There was a time when he was with the Tennessee Titans where he didn't blitz Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning beat him that time. Peyton Manning beats a lot of guys when you don't blitz them.
He has to blitz this time, though. This team won't be able to absorb all of the pressure that Peyton Manning by dropping in 7 guys deep. They have to be able to put some pressure from different areas on Peyton Manning.
A lot of people around here, too, as you bump into certain individuals, and everyone's really got a lot of people are kind of on the fence right now. I think maybe they're holding their opinions until the very end. You were able to catch up with one guy who's covered the NFL for a very long time.
Well, Ed Werder works for ESPN. He's a guy that works for the national media. He's like a lot of people right now on the national side. They want to see the Colts. They think the Colts are going to win this game. But he also says this is as good a matchup as you'd see in a Super Bowl. And should we all be? How can we all be convinced that this won't be a 45-34 football game? Can defense rule the day in this game?
I think it could be a 45-35 football game very easily. You have two of the best quarterbacks in football. Nobody has outperformed the two of them this year. I think there are questions about how good the Saints defense is if they don't force turnovers. I mean, they gave up 31 points last week, even though they got 5 turnovers, and it wasn't because the Vikings were the beneficiaries of short fields provided by their defense or their special teams. They actually controlled the game to that degree. So I think getting turnovers is essential. I know it's going to be difficult to get them from Peyton Manning. Nobody thinks they can get them from Peyton Manning. Other guys have to touch the ball when it leaves Peyton Manning's hands. Those are the guys that can get it from.
Yeah, you're right about that. We always been hearing so much about the Colts offense, but it seems like to me the Saints have an offense that is as similar to the Colts as anybody else in the NFL.
I think the most remarkable fact about this game is that you have the highest scoring offense in football, the highest scoring team, and yet they're a touchdown underdog. I think that's a fairly remarkable thing, and I'd be surprised if a guy like Sean Payton is not making full use of that with his team as a motivational ploy, telling them that it's a measure of disrespect. Yeah, I think I'm kind of surprised that the Saints aren't more highly regarded going into this game.
Do you think this game is of national interest? Not just because it's the Super Bowl. I mean, you have two teams that have very strong Louisiana ties. Or is this game just being watched by people in Louisiana and the Gulf Coast, people up in the upper Midwest and Indianapolis?
I think it'll be watched by people all over the world in record numbers, as it usually is. I think there are probably some people who felt like the value of tickets might have been greater had there been other pairings, if Brett Favre had played here, if the Jets had played here, because they have a big fan base, you know, in the South Florida market. But I think it's a game everybody's going to enjoy the matchup of these two teams, and I think they like the unique storylines, you know, in this game. The Saints coming back from Katrina and all they did in 2006 to put their team together. And at that time in 2006, who knew Peyton Manning was winning his first Super Bowl, and in his old hometown, a team was being built that might deny him his second.
Yeah, well, if there's a team that can deny Peyton Manning his second Super Bowl ring, I think it's going to be the Saints. You know, this is the football team that when they've had time to prepare for an opponent, like they did in Week 6 against the Giants, supposed to be the big game of the year, Sean Payton was amazing. Drew up the perfect game plan. I wouldn't expect anything less in this game against the Colts.
All right, thanks, Juan. We'll stick around after the break. It was the final thoughts of the head coaches before Super Bowl 44. Did they say anything interesting? We'll tell you. We're live in Miami. Stay with us. Back live to Miami. He's Juan Kincaid. I'm Scott Cody. Final press conference today for both head coaches, and in between rubbernecking at the beach and eating at Joe's Stone Crab for a third time, Juan Kincaid was actually there and I think filed a report.
Yeah, one thing we talked about today, Scott, was this team playing for the city of New Orleans, and Sean Payton said, look, don't get it twisted. We play for our city, but we're also playing for ourselves.
I think throughout the course of the week and by game time, I don't think when we meet or talk, you know, there's any of this, you know, we got to win one for the city speech. In other words, I think that's just a sense of a feeling that exists or permeates throughout the course of a year or throughout the course of the player's time here. You know, that sense of or that feeling of this is pretty important to everyone, and they remind us daily how great the fans are. They remind us daily how important it is to them. So that being said, I think, you know, games like this come down to the execution, the details. You know, the players will be excited to play. All the little things that really allow you to win games and all the little things that potentially can cause you to lose games. And I think they understand that.
they're not solely playing for a city, but there is no doubt, Scott, that this team has been rallied and motivated by this city ever since Katrina passed, came back in '06, and it's been the rallying cry for this football team all year long.
And I think, you know, we talked about it earlier at 6 o'clock when Sean Payton was asked, what will this mean personally as you went in? I think a lot of it's lost sometimes because of everything, and not trying to downplay all that, but this is a huge moment for these guys professionally, from Little League all the way up. This is what you dream of, becoming a Super Bowl champion.
We go back to looking at this roster. The Colts have 25 players that have played in the Super Bowl. This team right now has only 5. It means a lot to every guy on this roster right now.
Yeah, and they're all kind of castaways too, including Scott Shanle, who right here in this very town created and picked up a huge turnover against the Dolphins that led to a touchdown right before half that really might have turned this season around. We caught up with him earlier this week. Everyone's kind of talked about when they've walked back into this stadium. It brings back some pretty special memories of that game that you guys played in October.
Yeah, I think it was one of those games that was the first time in the season that we'd experienced any true adversity as far as being down as a team by that much. And the way we responded, I think it really set the tone for this team. And kind of that chemistry, you know, we were already together as a team, but we kind of just proved to ourselves that no matter what we face this year, we can overcome it.
Talk about this defense and how you overcome a team that really doesn't mind being one-dimensional.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where every week we feel like as a defense we're gonna do what we do. We're gonna do what we've done the best all year, and we kind of eliminate the things. By now, at this point in the season, we know what we haven't done so well scheme-wise, and you know, we're excited. We're gonna do what we've done all year.
What does it mean for a guy that's been here through pretty much this whole process and being with a franchise that kind of gave you your shot to be the player that you've become in the NFL?
Yeah, I was just talking about the other few years, 2006, we still have a lot of players remaining from that team that was just short of the Super Bowl. And then 07 and 08, we barely missed out on the playoffs. So this year you can kind of sense back in training camp that the pieces of the puzzle were all there to kind of get this thing done. And the way the season unfolded, the guys, there was an accountability aspect that I have never experienced as far as being in the NFL. Nobody cared about the credit. Nobody cared who got the credit. It was just about getting to this game and winning this game.
A lot has been made about some comments Greg Williams made regarding Peyton Manning and trying to get him to the ground. How, as a defense, are you guys reacting to those comments? And obviously things get overblown during Super Bowl week, but I'm sure this isn't the first time you've been asked about it.
Yeah, I think that's Greg's mentality. I mean, he believes you got to get pressure on the quarterback. In his comments, it wasn't malicious as far as hurting anyone. It was just he was stating a fact. We got to get hits on the quarterback. We have to get pressure on him, and if we don't, it'll be a long night for us.
First time since '93, I believe, the top seeds in each conference have met here in the Super Bowl. I guess kind of talk about what that means.
Yeah, that was the first time a couple weeks ago I heard that, and I didn't realize that, but they also told me the NFC team won it, so that made me feel a little bit better. I just think both these teams, when you look back at the regular season, were kind of on a collision course to meet in this game. At one point, both teams realistically could have been undefeated coming into this game, and to me, I think every year you want to see the two best teams play in the Super Bowl. You don't want anybody to get upset in the playoffs and not see the two best teams, and I think you get the two best teams in the NFL this year.
Best of luck on Sunday.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Take care. Don't forget Super Bowl 44 right here on Channel 4 this Sunday. Juan Kincaid, we appreciate you coming down. We'll see you tomorrow. Absolutely. Don't go anywhere. We mentioned the Super Bowl. You can see it right here on CBS. The voice of the television broadcast meets the voice of the radio broadcast. Stay with us. We're live in Miami. Jim Henderson will have what Whodats hope will be an historic call on the radio for Super Bowl 44. Earlier this week, he caught up with his television counterpart.
As a child living on Green Acres Court in Metairie from 1966 to 69, going to James Madison Elementary and becoming a Saints fan from the opening play in the team's history.
To find the symmetry of the first time I ever attended a football game happened to be the birth of the New Orleans Saints, and to say that you were actually there and you can still flash back in your mind and remember John Gilliam running the kickback, number 42, running the kickback 94 yards for a touchdown. And now you get to be there the first time the Saints play in the Super Bowl. My father would be very, very excited about this. And I know I am.
There are teams, the Dallas Cowboys being one, that some fans will watch if only to pull against them, no matter who the opponent might be. That won't be the case in Super Bowl 44.
I mean, you have two of the most popular franchises playing here.
And no villain.
No, there is no villain. I was thinking of them. And I said, welcome back to Super Bowl 41. For us at CBS, it's our 16th. We were there for Super Bowl 1 with Ray Scott, Frank Gifford, Jack Whitaker, and Pat Summerall. Phil, this is going to be a good one. He made a comment, and we turned away from the camera, looked down on the field.
When it came to calling games, Nance says some self-study has convinced him to do the same this time around.
That although I pride myself on being a storyteller and dropping in interesting anecdotes about players and people, that I really think this is his game. I think I've given a lot of thought for 3 years. This is an analyst day. And I really have to make sure that people with them, so they're not hanging on your every word. You want to hear the energy. You want to hear the crowd noise seeping through. You want to hear that buzz. So I'm dialing back this year. That's my game plan. No one's asked until you did, Jim.
Some Saints fans have been preparing a lifetime for this game. Nance has been preparing just 2 weeks, but he shares their excitement as kickoff draws near.
You get the butterflies before any broadcast, regardless of the rating or the audience size, but I feel really like I'm not there alone. I really feel ready for this one.
Well, stay with us. After the break, we unveil our top play of the 2009 season. We're live from Miami. Stick around. Welcome back live to Miami. All this week, we've counted down the Saints' top 5 plays of their historic run to Miami. Looking back, play number 5, Will Smith's sack and strip, Remy Adele's recovery for a score against the Jets. Number 4 was Breeze over the top just before half against the Dolphins. Number 3, Robert Meacham's strip 6 against the Washington Redskins. We're calling that one the Beltway burglary. Number 2, Tracy Porter's interception of Brett Favre. And the number 1 play from 2009 is through Miami and sealed his place in history with a 40-yard overtime field goal. If you watch closely, the man who started that play never really saw how it finished. Deep snapper Jason Kyle bum rushed at the snap, but he held on long enough to hear the crowd and keep the guys away from it getting blocked. Garrett Hartley said later he visualized that, called his dad at 2:15 the night prior and said, I'm going to kick a 42-yarder from the right hash. He was only off by 2 yards. Well, we appreciate you joining us tonight. For Juan Kincaid, I'm Scott Cody and Jim Henderson. Everyone else that makes this show work, we appreciate you joining us. We're live in Miami 2 days from Super Bowl 44. I know you can't wait. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm out.